What I'm going to do is make a tutorial for Craig, otherwise known as DJ Ghost. It's going to show, hopefully, how to get a button, like a custom image, like what I've done here in the Get Over Here menu. And I'm not going to use this is just a total example. What I should probably want to do is archive everything that I've done. Get Over Here V6, and it's revision 142. Revision 142. That way I can undo everything that I'm going to do in this tutorial. I'm sure other people will view this, but this is just for Craig. If you get something out of it, great. I'm sorry I'm not too excited and enthusiastic right now. I've just had a 12-hour shift at work. Got a text from Craig saying he doesn't completely understand the graphics of how to code this add-on, so that's what I'm going to do now. So get back in there. So first things first, we want to make a button, of course. With graphics for WoW, the images have to be a set size, otherwise they won't load up, or if they load up, it's a green, like you'll get a green screen or something like that, or they won't load up at all. So everything has to be like 512 by 512, or in this case 128 by 128, 256 by 256. I'm sure there's 512 by 256. The maximum you can go, there's 128, 64. I think you can go to 32 as well, but the maximum you can do is 1024 by 1024, unless they've changed stuff and not told us. That's been the general thing for doing images for WoW add-ons. So in Mage, I want to change some stuff. So the images for Mage, the way we've structured it is most of the code work will go in to the main folder, and then images for each class will go, and sounds for each class will go into their subfolders and act as plugins. So at the end of the day, if the user doesn't want to use the Mage, they can delete it and the add-on will still load up, just not showing Mage. So there's the background. I'll let my editing program, PaintShop Pro, very good program. I do have some quirks with it, which I'll get into later. So here's a TGA file. We'll load that up. Let's just copy that so I don't save over what I've done. In game, let's say I want a button there, and I'll create a new layer. Okay, let's just say that's going to be my button, which is not. I mean, you can design your own buttons and stuff, but let's have a button, literally. So there we go. That's going to be a new button that we're going to code up. So we'll bring it out. How big is it? Let's just minimize that. This is what, 67 by 69 or some crazy thing like that. See, that's one thing I've got with this program is it defaults to perspective. I don't want perspective, I want scale. You know, so I can scale shit. But then we go do other stuff and then come back, and it probably won't do it for me now, but so we'll duplicate, cancel, go back. So yeah, it won't do it, but generally this will flip over to perspective again. It's like, prick, I've already chosen scale. Alright, so we want 64 by 64. We don't have to scale it per se, we can just image and resize the whole thing. Pixels, don't want to lock the ratio. Alright, so I want to save this. So normally you would do whatever design you want to do, Craig, and obviously it's going to match this whole thing so it all fits in and looks pretty, but we're just going to get a button there for now. Okay, now this is where Paint Shop falls down. I can save as a TGA, but if I do that, the transparency, when it saves, it leaves like a white glow around the object. I don't want that. I want it to be as it is. That's why I designed it. I don't want Paint Shop to add stuff to it. And this will be my, say, get over here, V6 button. Well, we'll just call it button. Okay, but PNG files, WoW will not load up, so we have to convert them. There's my button. So I'm going to open it with GIMP. GIMP is amazing for saving stuff, and I'm sure for doing a lot of other things. It's so complicated to use, so just can't wrap my head around it. It's, yeah, but I use it to export, and I will export my PNG as a TGA. Export it, close, there we are, and we won't get that white glow. I wish Paint Shop would fix that, right? That's the only reason I use GIMP, is to do just what you saw there. Okay, so my image is done. I don't have to modify it. If I wanted to modify it, I can load it back up as a TNG. So let's delete the PNG file. I don't really need this open. I do use this to like move graphics around and see where it's going to look before I position it via code, but we're just doing a simple button at the moment. So close Paint Shop. Now we want it to be in the Mage. Daily request a reset, yay. If we go back to where the code is, all of the code will be in the main area. The XML file for Mage, and we are on the General tab, which is that one. But if you wanted it on that, you'd be loading up the Arcane or Fire, or whatever. You get the idea, Craig. They're all labelled General XML. So I want to put a button in. I've actually put lots of comments in, Craig, so it shouldn't be too hard to follow. There's an example button here, which is that log on. Okay, so if I copy that, and then paste it underneath above the frame ending, and this is going to be my button, pink button. Obviously we don't have that code done yet, so we'll comment that out. This is my tooltip. As you can see, the tooltips are basically there. What it is it being used, the save variable, and then toggle for an example. So we might not want toggle for example, we can take that out. You can kill that line if you want. Save variables, well, if we're going to have a new button that does something, then you want a save variable for it. So all of the save variables are back in the loo. And we don't want date modifier, we just want my name. Where is it? Save variables. And we want this for Mage. So we open that up. So look, there it is. Let's make a new one. Copy that. Paste. This is our pink button. We're going to default it to no. And that's our data there. Is it being used? It'll be no. We can close save variables now. We're still in the XML. Go up. We need to change that login sounds to pink button. And the same with the name of it at the top here. And we can save that. Now this is your normal texture, pushed, disabled, highlighted. And we're not using that button there, we're going to be using our pink button. So the first thing is we've got to make sure we go to it. It's under Mage. So all of these are going to be Mage. Images, which is the same there. We don't have a settings, it's just straight images. And our name is pink button. We don't have to put TGA. Now you can do different pictures for each one of these if you wanted to, like disabled. I might do that and then make it grey. But this is just a quick tutorial. Alpha mode. What that does is just adds a brightness to it, like in game. Like, see that? And how these all get bright. Okay. But you can do that through graphics too. So that should be loading up the image. This line here is where it's going to appear. If I don't change it, it will appear straight over the top of here. So I want to move it down. This is left and right, up and down. So let's do 310 and see where it shows up. This is the fun part, Craig, because you don't quite know where it's going to be or how it's going to look until you load it up in game. Now, if I do a reload, the image isn't going to be loaded up because I haven't quit WoW, and you'll see it'll become a green square. See that? It's a green square. So we need to quit WoW, load WoW back up, and obviously log in. And this is a PTR, since I don't have an active account. So you can see all the 90s there that I'm using to test. Get over here, Addon, to make sure it's working.
Your will is no longer your own.
Behold the tools of creation.
So that alpha, you can see it's turned the pink to white. And if I zoom in, which is a little function I added to this add-on, you hold control down, mouse wheel, so you can make it whatever size you want. If you hold control and shift, you'll change the alpha. That's just a little sneaky code I added in for those that didn't know. So I'm making it bigger so I can see the graphics. Okay, so I'm not using logon sound. See how it says logon sounds? I should change that to whatever it is. Pink button option. Save.
Your will
Behold
is no
the tools
longer
of
your
creation.
Can't click it because I've commented that code out. Now this is where you get muddled up. You're like, oh, but it's not showing the whole image, blah 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 blah, fucking whine, you Welsh bastard. I want to move it down, say another 50 for example. Maybe I might want to move it over 70, and you would notice that this is positives and minuses, so you can go the other way, put it wherever you want. And you may have to do this multiple times. You know, go in, reload.
Behold the tools of creation.
Change, you know, up or down, left or right, till you get to the spot you want. But you obviously want the whole button too. Now, this here, I'll just show you what it does. 130.
Your will is
Behold
no longer
the tools
your
of
own.
creation.
But it's still cut, and I'll talk about the cutting off in a sec. So say you wanted a bigger arrow than that, or a smaller one, this is the code you'd be using. So, you know, use this to change the size of this fucking thing. So we'll go back to 30, because that's generally what I'm having a lot of the buttons at. This one here is, this is for Craig to move the flippin' thing. Okay, each one of these images, oh fucking that better not be Craig. You're lucky. Alright, each one of these you get to choose text coordinates. So we're referring to the image of this, and we're saying, okay, left starts at 0, which is, you know, on the very edge, and we're going right 0.5, so that'll be like halfway, but we don't want to go halfway, we want to go all the way, so it's a 1. These are always 0 to 1 using decimal points, so it'll be like, you know, 9, oops, you know, 0.8, 765. You can even do that kind of shit to get where you want it to be. but we want it to go from start to finish, so left to right, 0 to 1, and top to bottom, 0 to 1. If you want to flip the image, you can actually go 1 to 0, 1 to 0, and mirror it completely. It's up to you. But we want the whole thing, and I want that for every single image. So I'm just going to copy and paste the whole lot. Save that. Reload.
Your will is no
Behold
longer
the tools
Okay.
of creation.
Got a button. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, say it's smaller than I wanted, then I just make it bigger.
Your will
Behold
is
the
no
tools
longer
of creation.
Here, okay, well let's move it. Let's move it down 450 and back to 230, see where that ends up. Getting it to
Your
whereabouts you
will
want it,
is
then
no
slowly
longer
move
Behold
it to
the tools of creation.
Alright, so we want it down further. Fine, let's make 500. Whoops, not 5,000, that'll be off the screen.
Your will is
Behold
no
the
longer
tools
your
of
own.
creation.
That's... no, I don't want it there, I want it over here. Alright, well, let's go all the way over there, which might be 800 or some crazy number. Let's find out.
Your will
Behold
is
the
no
tools
longer
of
your
creation.
own.
Let's do 900. Moment, Craig.
Your will
Behold
is
the
no
tools
longer
of
your
creation.
own.
So, 830. We need to go down probably 10.
Your will is
Behold
no
the
longer
tools
your
of
own.
creation.
Over. Say 50. It's not rocket
Your
science.
will
Behold
is no
the tools
longer
of
your
creation.
own.
Generally where I want it. You know, could... if I was to do this really, I'd be really specific and, you know, look at it and just
Your will is
Behold
no
the
longer
tools
your
of
own.
creation.
maybe the circle I want it a bit bigger, so, you know, I'll change it to 55.
Your will
Behold
is
the
no
tools of
longer your
creation.
own.
Longer, and, you know, you can do that too. Do 85 by 55.
Your will
Behold
is
the
no
tools
longer
of
your
tools
own.
of creation.
The wrong way. So let's do it the other way.
Your will is no
Behold
longer
the
your own.
tools of creation.
I'll keep going just in case you need more info. So we want to work this button, we want to get that happening. Alright, so we saved that now. But if we click it in the game, we're going to get an error. Because we haven't
Your
added
Behold
is
the
no
tools
longer
of
your own.
creation.
error.
Fear death.
And you can see it's trying to call a function, which is a new value because we haven't added it. Okay, Mage. All my code is not in Mage, it's back in the main. We've done the XML, which is this. Don't need anything more. Everything else is loo work. It's not events, it's buttons. So I've got all these here for buttons. So we want to add the button first. And it's a Mage button, so we'd assume it's in there. There's our general tabs. And if we keep going down, that's our log on one. So let's copy that, paste it, change that to pink button, which would be whatever function you're actually calling. We change that to what we called it here in the XML. Our saved variable. If the save variable is no, then we want to change it to yes. And if it is a yes, we want to change it to no. Play Mage login sound, well, that's for that. We can kill that. We can add our own sound files. We put in a different thing. I'm pretty sure you know where they are. See, boom, or whatever example you want to give. But I'm just going to change it and not have any example. Okay, maybe I might play the on default instead of the off. So that's gonna, once you click, toggle that, and then load up this here, which is our refresher, the images. Every button has the same refresher. Well, that's not true. There are different refreshers for different buttons, but I've kept all the Mage ones with the Mage refresher. So that should be in. We go back down to Mage, there's Mage Image Refresher. That's where it is. We've got the Mage one there, so let's copy the Mage and then paste a new one. This will be our pink button. This is our save variable. And we are loading this image. So you notice in the loo they've got a double slash, whereas in here it's a single. It's just a difference between loo and XML. I don't know why, but that's what you have to do. So all these are going to be Mage, images, and then button, but no settings. So we kill that, and change that. Naturally, you know, the ons, you're going to have one picture. Otherwise it's pointless even having this if you're going to have the same. And then off, you know, you'll have a different picture. Alright, so let's go and do that. Let's go back down to Mage, images. Let's copy that over. Let's have that as off. Let's load it up in my little program. And let's change the color of that. Let's colorize it to red, and we'll save it as a TGA. I know I should use GIMP to export it. That might give you an example. Okay, so 2 buttons there. Let's go back to the where we were, which is loo. So we've done that, but that's going to change the wrong thing. So we need to go back up here to the name, button name, pink image, change those, and that is done. Save, quit. You're obviously going to get a green.
Your will
Behold the tools of creation.
See, it's all green.
Do you?
Let's quit and load back up. Come on. You're an old program. But this is a fucking beast machine. You shouldn't take this long. Guild Wars loads up faster.
Your will
Behold the tools of
So
creation.
that is off. because it's not being used, but if we click it, it goes pink and it's being used. It's more noticeable on other graphics, like some dude or whatever that you're drawing, and next thing you know it's got a glow around it. It's like, that's not what I saved. So there's me shadow and a glow. It's like, no, that's not what I asked for. I wanted a shadow. Delete. So we'll adjust that to red. That's my off. We will adjust this one to green, even though we called it pink button. Just giving you an example. I save as PNG. Save as PNG. Close. And then I want to export it, so I open it up. Open with GIMP. GIMP is free, for those that don't know. Export it as a TGA. Replace. Export. Done. PNG file. I mean, you can even see here, white shadow, black shadow. That's the difference between GIMP and PNG saving. GIMP and PaintShop Pro. There's my tiredness. So export as TGA. Done. Close. So now that's better. Get rid of the PNGs. Since I've already loaded the images in WoW, that should change now.
Your will is no
Behold
longer
the tools
your
of
own.
creation.
So there's that alpha over, it's just going bright green. Bright yellow. And if you don't like that, you can do your own. Copy here. Change that to over. Copy the red one too. Anyone see the error that I just made? There it is. Okay, so my overs, bring them into PaintShop. Easiest way is to duplicate. And just do a multiply if you want it darker, or a screen if you want it lighter. So, or you can do any other different combination, it's up to you. So let's just do screen and make it 48. Merge visible, duplicate. And I could go the other way and make the other ones darker if I wanted to, and leave these ones. But this is just an example tutorial, just showing you a few things. Merge visible. Those are done. Save them as PNGs. File save as PNG. Close. And obviously I want to see how it's just a little bit different. I want to open with GIMP. File save as, oops, GIMP doesn't have a save as, TGA is export, which if the GIMP developers are watching is fucked. Export. So that's done. export, TGA export, replace, close. Get rid of my PNG files now. Yep. So I've got an over, so I'm going to have to change my code. My code for the highlighted, instead of being an add, well, will be this one here and over, but I don't want any alpha mode on it, so because I'm doing it myself, so I'll remove that. But this is getting changed in the main code in the loo file. So if I go down to image refresher, that's where all this stuff is getting changed. Mage, moving too fast for my eyes to see. And I need to go back to the graphics. Alright, so here we've got the highlight texture, which is an over. But our problem, we'll have to put that in here because we've got two different states, on and off. So, oh shit, I'm changing the wrong, see that? I'm changing the wrong thing. So I need to go down to the pink button. So, now over, need to put that down here. And we've also got the off version of it, so we need to copy that, put that down there, and get the off version. Now in normally I don't have two different off states, I've just got the one, hover version, but I'm just showing you as an example because you wanted to learn this stuff and couldn't figure it out. So that should work now as long as we reload, because we've got two new images. Come on. Could load Rift in this time. Or Old Republic. Come on.
Behold the tools of creation.
So, I hope that has helped you. 108 mounts, really. Yeah, they're all my names. So, for those that haven't seen this, this is, you name whatever mount you want. So the Black Warbear, let's name it Bam Bam. Let's turn that announcement on.
Do you fear death?
Where is it? Black Warbear, I think that's what it was. Mount it. Boom, summons Bam Bam. Yay. And you can
behold the tools of creation.
All of your mounts, every single one of them. Bam Bam. There it is. yeah, that's what's coming, that's what's getting coded. Lots and lots of different stuff. Hopefully I've helped you, Craig. Button.
Do you
Alright,
feel
this
death?
shit game.